limitations in my beliefs. Like I was just like, oh, I just want to close like 1 or 2, and they're like, why not go for like 30? Why not go for 25? Why are you setting yourself lower? And I was just like, I don't know, because I've never done it. and so the fact that you're able to like just be like, okay, I want to close this many. I don't know how I get there, but I think it encourages you to like keep on moving forward and just figuring it out to achieve that goal. Because if you like set a small goal or anything like that, you're gonna achieve it and you'll be like, okay, what's next? Like I said, I only went to community college for like 2 years. Knew that college wasn't gonna be for me. I just didn't see myself in a corporate job. But I know that I was stubborn, and then I had an itch for like developing myself. So man, that's why I love this industry. It's like one of those things where it's like you work on yourself, you're gonna see results.
Camera rolling.
Oh, roll it.
Action.
Yes, world. What is going on? This is your boy, Buddy Ramy.
It's your boy D-Rock the Mic.
Yes, sir. We are back at it with another episode of the Funny Business Podcast. Yes, y'all. So before we do get started, we want you to like and subscribe to the YouTube page right here, right there. You know what I'm saying? Follow us on all of our social media.
Yes.
Instagram, Funny Business. TikTok, Funny Business. And follow us on our Patreon, Funny Business.
All funny business.
All
right?
funny
You
business.
got it?
Seriously funny business. But
and make sure you comment. Make sure you leave a comment for us. And if you like something we said or something that the person or our guest said, go ahead and cut that out, share it, tag us, and let us go ahead and put you on our page.
Yes, sir.
All love, man. Support black people, man. We're gonna support you back. That's how we do.
Subscribe, follow, all that good jazz.
Yeah.
But without further ado, we got a very special guest here tonight, man.
It's a little different this time.
Yeah, it's a little different. We've had some rappers, we've had some comedians and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But we about to switch it up. We about to really be on our entrepreneurial shit tonight. So without further ado, special guest, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I'm Ishmael. I'm a real estate advisor in the Sacramento area. And so, I just educate people and help people out when it comes to building a portfolio and things like that, when real estate wise. Yeah.
A portfolio. That is the very first time we heard that on the Funny Business Podcast.
Exactly.
Portfolios.
Make sure you grab your pens and pencils, your paper, all that shit. Write that shit down.
Y'all, we are teaching you how to build generational wealth on this episode.
Now.
What the fuck?
I know you broke watching this. I'm watching you be broke.
Yeah.
Get this money, man.
Why you stayed at your grandma's basement? We about to teach you how to build the houses and flip them and shit. So.
Man. So that's what I help people with.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Where did this all, like, were you, like, growing up, like, y'all want to be a realtor? Like, when did you get into this business, and what made you get into the business?
Man, I mean, you want to teach the truth. Okay, so with me, like I said, man, I come from a background where we're just blue-collar workers, man. Nobody in my family has ever decided to step out, like, the 9 to 5. You know what I mean? That's all we knew. And so I just knew that one day I was just like, I went to like community college for like 2 years, and I was like, I don't want a corporate job. I was like, I just don't. Like, it's just I like keeping my brain working. I just knew that I wasn't gonna be corporate. And then so at the other times I was like, I don't really have that many talents. Like I was just like, I know that. And I was like, but I know I'm hardworking. And I know that I got and I strive to be bigger than what I am. And so I've always looked at the real estate realm, but you know, the naysayers, like family and friends were like, bro, that's hard. Like, don't do that. Stay away from that. You barely anybody makes it. But in my head, I was like, if I put my mind to it, I could do it. So that's where it started, honestly. And I broke that cycle. I doubled down on myself, and then it took off from there. And the reason why I love doing it is because I just look back at my younger self and be like, man, I wish I would have just kicked myself in the ass and been like, yo, do this right now versus like listen to everybody else. But that's literally why I did it for, just people like us, man. Like honestly. Okay,
that's good. All right, you got anything, buddy, you want to ask him real quick?
No, I was gonna say, but you go ahead.
No, so I mean, as far as that, like, what could you advise, like, people that are looking to buy homes right now? What's the best advice you can give them right now, people that's out looking for homes?
Best advice, make sure you can afford it, honestly. Don't go out there and stretch your arm and the leg just trying to get in the house, because you're gonna lose it. And you're gonna be what I call house poor. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be able to enjoy the house. You're gonna be stressing. You're gonna be worrying about what's happening. If you get, like, even this flood that we're having right now, if you get one small leak in there, you're gonna be like, I'm done. You know, we're folded. So first, make sure you could afford it, and then second is just make sure that you pay down your credit cards and your bills. Don't stack up your debt. Keep your debt to low.
Okay.
Keep your debt low.
That's
I would say like that's key, man. If you keep your debt low, you can manage that, and you can keep a stable job, and you can have that affordability. And start. Another important thing. Don't aim for the stars. Like a lot of people want the big house on the hill. Want the 5-bedroom, 3,000 square. I was like, most people that get those houses, they started from a 2-1.
Yeah, that's true. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as you start somewhere, get your foot in the door, get that, because that's going to launch you to whatever house you want.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, how long have you been doing real estate for again now?
So I've been doing it for 8 years. So I started a little reverse. So I'm 38 now, but I was 30 when I started. And so when I started, I went to a seminar where they were teaching you how to flip houses and stuff like that. And I did that, and I realized I was getting spun around. I was getting like they were just like, here's a book, go get it. Here's a book, go get it. Pay me 2 G's. Here's a book, go get that. Yeah. And just don't do that. I guarantee you, there's free game everywhere.
It's the same way with the insurance game. Same way with the insurance game. Yeah.
And you're right, man. See, and they just kind of like upsell you and everything. And so I was like, you know what? Let me do this right. I actually started doing online. Don't recommend it. If you have the money, please go to a trade school. Okay. If you don't have the money, you could do it online, but it's just tedious, and you really have to be self-motivated to do it because you could look at you'll open up your laptop and you'll be like, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. And then you'll open up your laptop the next day and be like, yeah, I'm gonna wait tomorrow. Yeah, and then like after so many tomorrows, you're already behind the game.
That's true. That's how it's like working from home now and stuff like that, man. You'd be like, you can do so much stuff, but you're like, ESPN is right here.
Exactly.
Or I just turn on the sticks.
It's a struggle. Playing the game. That's true. It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
So you said you started at 30. What were you doing before that? Like, what was?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Up to then?
So before that, man, I was just hustling. Like I was basically Uber driving. I was working like a retail job. I was a management at Coach retail store, and so I was doing that, and I just kind of saw like I capped out. You know what I mean? Like there was no other position other than that, and I just tapped out, and I was like, nah, I'm not. I'm still living check to check. Like I'm not feeling this. Like so, I actually took a step down in my position. And then I actually started just working a little bit of side hustle, started bartending, stuff like that for like little gigs instead of doing like a restaurant or something like that. So I did like events, and that's what even got me more motivated because I was doing events in SF for like executive business execs and CEOs when we're doing these little private events. And so I was just like rubbing elbows with all these people. And I remember this one time I was sitting down and we were at this private like party, and this guy brought out his own private collection from a cellar, and he was like, oh, these are my employees, treat them blah blah blah, treat them well. And so we're pouring these bottles that are like 50 years old and things like that. And so this guy, I was just asking him, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm the CEO of this, da 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 da. Then I asked this guy, he was sharply dressed, and I was like, hey, what do you do? He's like, I'm a real estate agent. I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, business is everywhere, man. Yeah. And I was just like, what? I was like,
if there's a house, there's business.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, I love that. I was like, look around you, man. If there's a building, land, anything like that, it's real estate.
True. And that's the American dream. So everybody's gonna buy a house one day. So shit, it's gonna happen. It's true.
Exactly. So that's kind of what even motivated me more. I was like, all right, I gotta get this done.
Makes sense. All right, makes sense.
So what's it been like trying to navigate the whole like market and real estate coming out of like the pandemic, like 2020 and then all that? Because I'm pretty sure the market's just been like pretty freaking wild.
Oh man, you want to hear my 2020 story?
Yeah, let's hear it. Y'all got it. Let's hear it.
This is game right here. Get ready.
Let's hear it. No, he said this might not.
It might not be game, but it was funny. So I just got done. I think I was in like I had a phenomenal year. I remember like it was like one of those rag to riches stories where I think I had like I probably had like $600 in my account, right? And then I was about to get out the game because people don't know this, but you got to pay like real estate monthly fees. I got to pay also my rent. I got to also pay my car note. So I was like negative a couple $1,000 with $600. And so I was literally I had a coach at the time, and I was going into the office, and I was telling her like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna be able to, I can't afford it. Like I want to be in this business so bad, but I'm gonna need a front or so. I just maxed out all my cards, everything, and then I get a call, and I was literally hustling every day. But I get a call, and this guy was like, "Hey, what's going on? This is Jose. Blah 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 blah. We're looking at this house. Can you help me out?" I was like, "Sure. Send me the address." Look at the address. It's 1.9 mil. I was like, and I was like,
take that.
Let's sell. Let's get this.
And then the crazy part was like, I get another call the same like 30 minutes later. It's this girl that I've been talking to that's like actually looking at a house, and she's like, "Hey Ish, can you show me this house in Midtown? I'm interested. It's like 670." And then this other person that I've been trying to reach was like, "Hey Ish, I think we're ready to buy. We found a house. It was like at 490 that time." And then this other cat was like, "Hey, I found this triplex I want to find." Like all within like 2 days.
Damn.
And so I got in like, I think I put in like 7 that month in escrow. And but 2 fell out. Ended up closing 5, and then I closed at like 68 that month, like 68,000 or something like that. And so it was, and so I was like,
Look, I can stick around.
That's $600.
And so what happened was, it was funny because 2 months later, this was November. 3 months, 4 months later, pandemic hits, and then I'm just like, shit, well, there goes my business, you know, like, I was just like, I was like, damn, what am I going to do? And then so I was just like, you know, I just did what everybody else did. I went to go get a bottle and just kind of take things out and just chilled out and just vibed out for a little bit. Just kind of just stood still, just kind of just figured out what was going to happen with the world and things like that. And then like 3 weeks later, my phone started ringing. And when people were like, "Hey Ish, I don't know if you remember me, but we're interested in buying, da 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 da," and then business just blew up again. And I was just like, this is so bizarre. Like, I never thought people would call me. Like, that's when I knew, I was like, oh, okay, I'm a professional. Like, I'm that guy. And then so when that happened, I just started dedicating myself even to more. And the thing that made me more passionate is because I felt like people were really wanting to know answers to things, and I really wanted to give them those answers. I didn't want to BS them. So I even dove even deeper. Like, I started going levels. Like, why are the feds raising up rates? Why is there inflation? What happens with the economy when that happens? Like, I started going to a science with it. And
that's
so
good, though. We need people like you, because some people, you ask them a question, and then as a realtor, you expect them to know that shit, but they don't.
Like,
It's like,
you know, I can find
and that's like 80% of the realtor. I ain't gonna lie. Like, a lot of time I'll just back off when I'm like, "Who are you working with?" I'm like, "Ooh." I was like, "All right, well, good luck." You know, like, good luck.
You'll be calling me later.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of realtors though out here in Sacramento, so I can see how it's easy to just like fall for the wrong person just because there's so fucking many people.
There's so many. Like, I'm telling you, man. We're a dime a dozen, man.
Because
like,
you've been to the mixers, right? You've been to
100%.
the mixers. Yeah, you go to the mixers. I don't know if you've been to the.
I've been to
you've been to our mixer. Yeah, but so
like,
you go to the mixer. You go. There might be like 400 people there.
I've been there like I go like every kind of like once a couple times a year, but every time I go, it's a whole bunch of new realtors.
80%.
And it's like. And there's a small group of us that actually been in the business that we kind of were like, you know, what's up, man? We tip our hats off.
I remember.
Like, that's an OG now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but for a lot of them, they're just like, they come and go because they think it's all about just snapping a picture on Instagram and just being like, house for sale, or like, you know, a real estate agent, call me. And I was like, yeah, but if you don't have the knowledge or information or helping out people, like legitimately helping these people out, you're never gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
So what are things that you've done to try to separate yourself? Because I know you have like the podcast, you got the whole like film equipment set up. And so what are some of the things that you do to separate? You say I'm gonna separate myself.
Well, the thing I started realizing, because I realized like with real estate agents, they're very like, they just want to throw real estate at you, right? They just want to be like, real estate rates, da 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 da. And I'm like, man, let's go to a human level. Like, we're all in it. Like, there's other entrepreneurs in this world. Like, let's figure out what's happening. And I always looked out from a third person perspective. Like, no one's gonna understand the semantics and the legal jargon that we're saying. So how do we break it down to like a baseline? And then also, like, we're all people, and how do I get other people involved? So that's why I started thinking about like opening up a podcast and then I started doing YouTube channels just to have more reach and things like that. And plus, I love being creative. Like, there's a lot of people that do it the traditional way, and they'll hammer the phones, and I'm like, man, that's not me as a human being. Like, I just want to create like value for people, and if they miss with me, then even better. If they don't, they kind of get a preview of who I am. You know
that's good. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Now you have your license. Now, what would you tell somebody that's maybe out here watching? They like, yo, maybe I want to go get my realtor's license. What are the pros and cons to having that?
The pros and cons to having that is you now have the access to build your own business. That's a huge pro. So as far as you can take it, it will go. There's no cap. There's no cap. There's no ceiling to it, and you can make it whatever you want. Meaning, if you have good work ethic and you have good and you create good like consistency with building this business, it's gonna like it's crazy how fast like it's just you just go anywhere with it. Yeah. You go anywhere with it, and so. But the con is it's like a dual-edged sword. It's like if you don't do any of that and you're expecting business to land in your lap, you're gonna be out of business, and you got a whole bunch of fees you got to pay at the end of the day. Like you got a whole bunch of fees, you got a whole bunch of bills that are gonna start stacking up. You got a whole bunch of everything, and so that's the con. People think that once they get their license, like once they say, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent," their phones will be like, it's ringing, and be like, "Hey, I want to buy, I want to sell, I want to buy, I want to sell." Be like, I got you, you know, like it's not like that. It's not like that. It's literally, and then people are just thinking, you know, I talk to so many new agents and they're just banging their head against the wall, and it just boils down to like they're like, man, I've been trying for so long, I've been trying for a year, whatever it may be, and then I'm like, okay, well, let's dissect it even further. Like, what did you do today? Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, well, you know, I posted this, and then I was like, okay, that's all you did? Yeah. What did you do yesterday? Oh, well, I was busy because I had to work my other job. And then I was like, oh, well, what did you do the day before that?
So you've been at it for a year, but you've only been working for about a month.
Yeah, exactly.
They're working. That's right.
And that's what you got to break it down to. And it's just like something like that. They don't really realize that. They're like, oh, damn, I haven't been working. I just been wanting it. You know?
Yeah.
And so, wanting it and working is two separate things. And I had to learn that too.
No, yeah, I was like I said, we was talking about that earlier, just the learning curve when people say like join real estate or like with me doing insurance. A lot of people, like, when people say it's your opportunity to start your own business, you're like, all right, cool. But you don't really understand all that goes with building your own business. It takes you a while to learn that type of stuff, you know, like building up rapport with, you know, your customers, you know, being present, just being wherever you can and stuff like that. Always, and it's like a hard thing because like I don't know how you are, like with real estate. It's like once it like you always got to constantly have that in your mind, like just to like be always insurance. Like if I'm at a restaurant or something like that, I'm trying to strike up a conversation with somebody because I want to talk to you about when you're gonna die, so I can sell you some life insurance. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. Like,
how's your dad?
Yeah, so
you know,
like
your mom.
It's like, oh, so what do you want? You got
50, I feel good, but you're gonna die sooner.
Like, let me get to the IUL real quick.
I mean that's exactly why I'm not a salesy agent. Like I'm not. I'm just not that guy. Like I went to a venue and literally I don't tell people what I do until they ask me. Because like I just don't want to be like, hey, how's it going? I'm Ishmael. Like, what is it that you do? Oh, by the way, I do real estate. Like, you know, and so for me, I haven't met this gentleman. Like, he was just talking about how much he makes and stuff like that, and and he was like, "What do you do, by the way?" And I was like, "I'm real estate." He's like, "Oh, I gotta stay away from you." I was laughing. Whoa. He's like, "Oh, I don't make that much actually."
I've been flexing too hard.
And so I was just laughing. I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna sell you anything, bro. Like, don't worry." I was like, "I'm here if you need me, but I'm not if you don't." So I was like, that's kind of how I do it. And a lot of my business has been coming from like my friends and family that really just ready. Like, I mean, I've had clients that I've worked with for 4 years. You know what I mean? Like, literally, a good example is like this girl calls me off of Google, and she finds my number, and she's like, "I want to buy this mobile home." And I was like, "Cool, let's. Do you have a job?" She's like, "No, I'm a UC Davis though." And I was like, "Okay, so you don't have a job." I was like, "But you're a student, so you got student debt." And I was like, "Do you have a hefty down payment?" She's like, "No, I don't make any money." I was like,
you're coming with a prayer to me.
I was like, okay. I was like, "Do you have anybody that's gonna help you?"
She's like, hobbies?
She was like, "No, I just thought it would be easier to get a mobile home." And I was like, "Oh wow, I gotta start from the beginning with you." But anyways, long story short, I basically just schooled her on like the process and stuck with her. And I was like, "Look, you're in the very, very beginning. I was like, but once you graduate and get a job in your field, you'll be well qualified. And so basically 4 years later, she calls me up and it's just like, hey Ishmael, I graduated, and I got a job in my field. I sold her a house this summer.
Oh,
okay, there you go.
So that's what I'm saying.
Shouts out to you if you're on your way.
Yeah, her name's Chelsea Brown. Her and her boyfriend got a house out in like Yuba City area.
Oh yeah, shout out to the 530. Yeah. Shout out to the 530.
Yeah, that's where he's from.
That's
Yuba
where
City.
we from.
They don't weed there. That's where he's from.
Yeah, the dirty 530. Yeah.
I got away from that place.
I almost bought a house out there. At one point, I was looking. It got very dire. It was like Yuba City was looking real good at one point.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, you can get a lot for your dollar out there.
Yeah, that's true. Now, okay, a lot of people nowadays, they all want to, flip houses. That's like the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is flipping houses really that lucrative, and how much do you lose, I guess, putting into it just to even get the money out?
Oh man, so flipping houses could be very lucrative, but the only thing I would recommend and highly advise is know what you're talking about. Know your numbers. Know your numbers, because if someone just gives you a basic format and says, "Oh, this is the after renovation value," and you just take that word from like a wholesaler, which is someone that basically finds the deal and then gives it to you for a price. If you don't know your numbers or know what you're doing, or know or know a good contractor, or know a good loan private loan officer, which gives you private money, or just it's all about knowing what you're doing and then your network. If you have that down, yes, it's very lucrative. But if you don't know shit, like if you go in there and you're like, I'll take it, I'll empty out my 401k and try to fix it up, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose 100% of the time, because consider it a learning lesson, and just go and take that L and just go to the next one. But yes, it could be very lucrative, but you really got to know your numbers. You really got to know your market, and that's why realtors work with investors as well, because they use us as like say if they're not from this area, like if we get an investor from like SF or LA and was like, hey, I'm trying to buy some investments in Sacramento. What does that look like? How much are the rent rates? How much can I rent these units out for? What is there any up and coming businesses or industries that are coming in this area? Like, what does this look like 5 years from now?
That's what I'm saying. Look at the future.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of the future, man, what are some things that you're looking forward to now that things are starting to, I guess, try to say, steady up, What are your future plans looking like for real estate and things like that? Man,
for future plans, like I said, I help people grow portfolios, and I'm helping my friends and me build mine right now. Like, this is an opportune time, because back in 2020 when rates went down and everything like that, people were just throwing money. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, everybody became like 6-figure earners overnight. I don't understand it. Like before 2020, people were putting the minimal down. Like, I only got like 5,000 in my account. I was like, that's understandable. That's usually what I was working with. As soon as 2020 hit, hey Ish, we got 150. We want to put down like a dollar. Like, what? I don't understand what you mean by 150. Like 150K? You want to put down 150K? And I was like, yeah. And then I had another check. Yeah, we got about 200 we could mess with, and I'm like, where did you get this money? Like, all of a sudden,
that EDD check came in real
PPP loan, real nice, right?
I was like, what is, like, people just got money out of nowhere. I was just like, and so that's why the market was highly inflated, because people were just like, how much is this house? $550? Okay, I'll give you $650 for it, and I'll pay $600 out of pocket. I mean, I'll pay $100K out of pocket, and so I was just like, woo! And then so like people were, I would put listings out. I was getting 15 to 20 offers, and they were just, it was ridiculous. Now we're not seeing that. So what's happening right now is houses are sitting a little bit longer.
But this is like normal though, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a normal market.
Yeah, because I was talking continue.
No, this is very normal market. And the crazy thing is people are panicking because they're not used to seeing that in the last 2 years. So they don't realize that. So a lot of people that understand the waves of and the cyclical business of like real estate, they're like, oh, this is an opportune moment. Like, because a lot of people are scared. They're like, whoa, we're not used to this normal market. Something must be happening. And I'm like, nah, this is just normal. You guys just don't understand. Like, we just had a very, very, very like fire hose burning, crazy, like just the 2 years of real estate. So that's and now this is a normalcy of real estate right now. So
that's why I was wondering that, because I was talking to a real estate agent guy a couple months ago. He was basically telling me that same thing. Like he was like, all these new real estate agent people out here that gave their license, he's like, they don't understand how spoiled they are right now. Like once it goes back to being normal, and they see what being a normal like real estate agent like, they go see how rough.
Oh, a lot of them are falling out already. A lot, and I'm like, cool, make some way. Like, I'm like, let me get some swimming room, you know, and so, but no, honestly, and I think that's a blessing to our business because we really don't need people like going out there and not knowing what they're talking about and putting bad names on our name. Because I hate agents like that. Like they just once I say I'm an agent, they if they had a bad affiliation with a bad agent, they're gonna put you in that same box as well. You know what I mean?
Okay. So it's similar with comedy, bro. Somebody goes to the wrong comedy show, they see the wrong comedian, you try to get them to go to your comedy show, they're like, nah, I'm cool, I'm just chill.
Like, nah, I'm cool, man. I seen what y'all about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, nah, you ain't heard my jokes yet. You ain't heard my jokes.
Exactly. And so that's kind of how it is. But yeah, man, this is a very normal market, and now is the time to, like, for me personally, like, I'm gonna fly out to Dallas to meet up one of my boys and set him up with something out there, and then also possibly going on an investment with him as well. And then out here, just looking at house hacking, things like that, duplexes, things like that, because right now they're not getting any love. And so when you get no love, you could have a seller pay your closing costs. You could have them buy down your rate. You don't have to come out. Like literally, my last close, I got my buyer $33K of free money, and she only had at the end of the day she only had to come out of pocket $2,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm about to buy a house in 3 years, brother. We're gonna be talking about that. Pay attention, watch out for that.
And so you wouldn't be able to do that. Like like the last 2 years. Like if you try to do the same technique that I used on that, they'd be like, "Yo," they
throwing that out.
They're like, "We'll take the guy that's gonna put $100K down." You know?
So that is true.
So that's what I'm saying. Opportunity right now is crazy, and people. I think like the reason why I say that is because I'm educated in this field, but a lot of people are like that are not. Got that scared mentality, you know, like, "Oh my God, something must be going wrong." So, but for me, that's why I'm saying a lot. This is where that wealth separation starts happening again. That gap where you start seeing a lot of big businesses and big corporations start buying real estate because they see the value of it in 5 years versus people, and they love when people get scared. And so for me, I'm like, nah, man, let me teach y'all this, because don't let them buy it. You guys need to own it, you know.
Better that way. That's true. That's true.
So like that's what I'm about. I'm trying to give it back to us, you know. So
we appreciate that. Now let me ask you this. I seen this. I don't know if this is California or what. There was a guy who was talking about how he didn't spend no money on the house. He sold the house. It wasn't his, but somehow he got like the contract or something for the house where he was able to.
Oh, you're talking about wholesaling. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, that's what that is. That's wholesaling.
So
I'm learning. Okay.
So wholesaling is basically you could do this right now, basically. So it's basically like you could do this. It's just a hustle. So like I could drive down the neighborhood and see like some things to look for is tall grass. Like, you know, disarrayed front, like, you know, the roof needs work, gutters are all clogged up. Like basically a house that's in distress. Like if you find a house that's in distress, all you got to do, and this is free, by the way, you don't have to pay for like thousands of dollars or anything like that. You could literally go to like a title company and be like, hey, can you give me the information on blah, 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 blah. I think it's like 10 cents for the information. And so what you could do is either like you say, hey, Mr. Owner of house, I saw that your house needs are you interested in being like, you don't even ask them their situation, be like, hey, you know, I'm a cash buyer. I was like, I wonder if you'd be interested in a cash opportunity for your house to sell your house as is condition. And a lot of people, what they'll do, and you just keep on planting those seeds everywhere you go, and you're gonna find that person that has this distressed house and be like, dude, yeah, I need to get out of this. And so what they do, as a wholesaler, they'll be like, okay, bet, like, looking at all the work that needs to be done, like say the house is valued, let's just get, like, I'm gonna use simple math. So say the house is valued at like 300 after it's all fixed up, but it's such in a bad shape where you're just like, this is where your knowledge has to come into play, where you're like, hey, it's gonna cost me X amount to do this, it's gonna cost me X amount to do this, X amount to do this, X amount to do this. So with all that discounted, I'm looking at a valuation at like 120. And then they're like, I know that, you know, you're looking at the 300 mark, but I'm gonna have to put at least 125K, and then with the market going downturn and knowing your numbers and really explaining why you need that buffer and cushion, then you're just like, And they're like, okay, that makes sense. And if you get them the contract, then that's when you post it on Facebook and say like, hey guys, I have this opportunity for a house. I'm selling it for $150. And basically what I'm doing is this is what it needs done to it. A good wholesaler would have a list of what it needs done, how much it's going to cost, and how much it's going to look like after the renovations are done. And so once he's done, he's like, hey, it needs about $100K in work, but after you're done with it, it's going to sell for like $325. You know, so, and I'm selling it for $150. So an investor, a flipper is going to be like, oh, okay, there's about like $75K to be have. And so for him, assigning that contract to them, just off of that, he's paying now the owner of the house $120. He's charging the investor $150, so he's netting $30K just off of that.
Telling you, man.
So
all that information.
Welcome
right
to Patreon.
Yes, I was like, all that information
not on YouTube.
Patreon.
You on Patreon watching this game. You know what I'm saying?
And
So a nigga know.
Yeah, so that's basically how that game works. But like I said, you really got to know what you're looking for, and you really just got to know how to access information and really know how to negotiate. So if you get those two skills, anybody could do it. Like literally, you don't need a license to do that. You could just door knock and be like, hey, you know the owner of the house?
No license. All you need is to subscribe to our Patreon account.
That's all you need to do. Yeah. Anybody who watching this live in a bad area, let me know where you at. I'm gonna come look at some houses over there. Sleeping shit.
Yeah, if you need cash, I got you.
We flipping it like a mattress, baby.
Ishmael got the cash. I'm just the nigga that's gonna get that bag. That's all we're trying to do, man. That's all we here for. All right.
Oh man.
So speaking of which, also shout out to our sponsors. You know what I'm saying, Simbi Tax Services, so people know about like property taxes and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you definitely gonna need them if you flipping houses.
Yeah, if you flipping houses.
In California,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we got that. So you all at Simbi Taxes Professionals. You know they're sponsors here for our Funny Bidness podcast, all that good stuff. Yeah. So if you guys need your taxes done, you need a reliable tax professional, holla at Simbi Tax Services right here. You know what I'm saying? We are affiliates with them, so if you guys are trying to refer people, just let them know. We'll refer them to you, give y'all a cool little discount on your taxes and all that good stuff.
That's right. Yeah. If you don't pay your taxes, you're going to jail. It's in jail right here. Nigga, that's where you go.
That's right. You either come to Simbi or go to jail.
I like to let people know where you're going. Nigga, you're locked up.
That's your one or two choice. You either go to Simbi Tax Services or you go to jail. What's it gonna be?
You know what I'm saying? No pass and go, no collect $200. Nigga, you going to jail. Now that was another episode of
the Funny Bidness Podcast
with our special guest Ishmael, the realtor that giving you the game. You know what I'm saying?
The realest realtor in the game.
There he is, right there. This boy's a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? Started from the bottom, now he's here. So remember that.
Yes, sir.
Check us out on YouTube, Patreon, everything. We
YouTube,
everywhere.
Patreon, TikTok. It's all under Funny Bidness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that good shit.
If you want to just follow me though too, because I Funny Business is the business.
But follow D-Rock.
I'm my own nigga. Yeah. Follow me at D-Rock the Mic. That's DROCDAMIC. It's right there.
It's right there.
They're going to keep dropping shit every 2 seconds.
Follow that nigga. Then after you get to follow him, follow me, buddy, at yeahbuddyent. That's short for entertainment. So YEAHBUDDYENT.
Funny Business. Give me your stuff, man. Let them know where to find you at.
You can find me on Instagram and also my socials. I'm DatIsh, DAT_ISH. So looking for DatIsh, you know.
That's a smart brother right there. DatIsh. I like that shit.
That's like how we did like the Funny Business, the BIDNES.
And he'll plug it right below too.
Right there. So once again,
it's right
here.
You know what we're gonna start doing? We're just gonna start pointing up to random places.
Just everywhere. It can be anywhere, all right?
We're pointing down, it's all in the corner.
If you look underneath the table, you can know where to follow us.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all listening to us. This is gonna be our home base. I just like to say this again. This is home base.
No longer a kids' room.
No longer in the kids' room. The kids' room that we was in, he's in the back, punking us, telling us what to do. So shout out to that brother right there.
He ID'd me on my way into the building. It's serious around here.
But yeah, man, support Funny Business Podcast, support black businesses. We're gonna support you back, man. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir. We out.